Hi, folks. Welcome back to another great episode of Finding Data Friends. We are lucky to have found another data friend to join us today. So, Daniel, thanks so much for joining us. Do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are?
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the show. Um, I'm Daniel.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I mean, you're like 10 seconds in, so.
I'm here for the cred.
Confident.
So yeah, I won't force you to try to pronounce my last name. I think Ben might be able to, but I just usually go by Daniel. I'm a SQL Server consultant, small business owner. I run the fax machines at my small consulting business. And I also organized Data Saturday Stockholm, which is, I think, on its fourth year or something. I lost count during the COVID thing. And I also try to write the occasional, software for that conference, which serves me, and I just sort of make it available to everyone else under the guise of open source software. But it's really just my pet project. So I think that's.
And we're all very grateful for all of these tools because they make organizer life so much easier.
Oh, but have you tried it?
Just
Or are
saying.
you just saying that to be nice?
I have tried it,
Oh, cool.
and we have not made the final call on that yet because there's a bunch of other implications as well on how we want to do things. But I'm pretty sure we will use your QR thingy for Data Grillen, which happens to be the week before Data Saturday Stockholm. What a coincidence!
That's exactly right.
Which really is a coincidence, but
It may not be as much of a coincidence as you might think. You'll cut this
aha!
part out from the actual podcast, I'm sure. But I may or may not have placed my conference next to other notable conferences in the region to get people to, fly just a short hop to Stockholm and speak there too. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Nice.
Conference organizing is
Given
all
that your
about.
schedule came out like 2 weeks ago, did it work?
Yeah, right. So today is February 23rd, right?
Exactly.
So I'm hoping my schedule came out just recently. But yeah, conference organizing is all about trial and error, just seeing what sticks, what doesn't, and it's an emotional roller coaster, as you and many of our audience may well know. So
It's fine. It'll be fine. It's all good.
oh, it'll be fine. Just
Most of the
this year, we're trying something new. We have a new huge venue from one of our venue sponsors, or our venue sponsor, actually. So up until previous years, we've been in a small school-like venue, and we've had a couple of issues with all kinds of things, like doors that we are not allowed to close because we will never be able to open them again. Beeping alarms, stuff that doesn't work, microphones that just are not there at the day of the event. Last year we had pyramid scheme people running through our venue because they had apparently rented another part of the venue. So that was fun.
How's that going for you? Have you made it up to the top
sounds
of the
lucrative
pyramid?
for them.
It's quite the roller coaster, but this year I hope the venue will be so much better. So I'm really, really looking forward to that bit.
Awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The also interesting part is usually people ask me, do you really want to open that door? Where apparently at your event was more like, do you really want to shut that door? So
Yeah.
interesting concept. Interesting concept.
The thing with being in public spaces in weekends or something, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
There's that.
Perfect. Okay, well, before we get too sidetracked and go off on a rabbit hole of organizing conferences, the first question we ask all our guests is: do you want to tell us about your favorite data thing?
I am a SQL Server person, have been for 25 years. So the easy cop out for me would just be to say SQL Server, and that would be it, right? But I'm going to say performance tuning SQL Server because
Okay.
it's the Swedish expression is it's so easy to become a hero. Basically, if someone comes in with his broken old 90s car wreck and the engine's rattling and they don't know what to do with it. And you can sort of fix it up and put wings on it and make it go Mach 2 across the Atlantic. That's how it feels to performance tune a query. Like it was going slow. Could you make it twice as fast? We would be happy with that. And you look at it and you say, oh, it needs that index, and you could rewrite this and that to like a cross supply like this or something like that. Avoid this pattern, and all of a sudden it's like 1,000 times faster. It's fun, and it plays to sort of my heartstrings as a consultant as well, because you always want that kind of reaction from your clients, like how is this possible? Yeah.
I just removed power saving mode and put it back to bam. There we go.
Yeah. Exactly like
I usually just make things go slower, to be fair. My performance tuning isn't the best.
I mean, it depends on what you're getting.
But you got colleagues that kind of
Exactly.
do the performance tuning for you.
Exactly.
Speaking of pyramid schemes, hang on.
So you can get in here on the ground floor, Ben, if you like.
We have got an offer for you.
Yeah, about that. Let me get back to you because I'm not quite sure my personal code of conduct allows me in engaging in Swedish pyramid schemes. GDPR. That's usually a valid excuse for pretty much everything, so I'm pretty sure it will work for this one as well.
Right? Just use that keyword.
Exactly. It also usually makes people like back up for far enough that okay, I can just run away without getting a new credit card in most cases.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Was it an interesting or lucrative pyramid scheme? I cannot let this go.
Oh, it's one of those disgusting ones, aren't they all? That targets vulnerable people to part with their money to buy shit they don't need, that they then try to sell to all their friends and family who do not want to buy it, but want to support their family need by repaying them some of the money they lost. And, you know this story. This goes for all of the pyramid schemes. I hate them with all of my soul. I just can't even stand being around them, so it kind of soiled part of the experience, just seeing them in the same venue.
For sure.
Well, I hear this year will be all better. So
yes, there will absolutely be no pyramid schemes running around in our venue this year. I am confident.
It feels like there's always the like most unique challenges to fix, right? From conference organizing. Like if you said I'm going to organize a conference, like what are some things I should think about that are going to cause me problems? Pyramid scheme is probably not the first one that comes up.
Right. But it's always like the things that blindside you, right? Because you can calculate for and budget the obvious things. Like, okay, are there going to be enough rooms? Is there going to be power sockets? Is there going to be wireless internet? Things like that. You can have a checklist. You go through the checklist and just make sure everything is in place. And then you show up and, there's no one there to unlock the door.
Yep.
Like, guys.
Perfect.
Sometimes it's even more complicated. Like on the last Data Center Day in Rhineland, there was a competing thing going on as well. Per se, it was pretty cool because it was a Lego exhibition. So there was just huge Lego builds and all that there. The problem was one of the rooms that they had rented for this purpose was the canteen. So, which is where we would usually get our food. So we had to get our food somewhere else, which meant we had to have an open fire or whatever in some other place where there usually is not. Yada yada. Long story short, we had to get someone from the local fire department to be on site and check for everything and yada. And they constantly kept walking around. We're like, this roll up cannot be here because it has to be like 1 centimeter to the left because otherwise we will all die in the case of a fire, etc., etc. So,
sign.
Stuff we did not consider when telling people where to put up their booths. Let's leave it at that because they had been there for the past, I'm going to say 10 years without any issue.
So
nobody has died in the past. Nobody has died last year. So
one of the recent years when I attended Data Saturdays in Gothenburg, there was this one room that they had rented, one of the lecture rooms at a university, and they were having a LAN party. So they were, using the projector, and they were using the network, and they had rigged up their gaming stations and were playing network games on a Saturday morning because they had a. And the organizer Mikael asked them like, "But I've rented this room. Did you not, you know?" And they were like, "Yeah, but so have we." And it turned out. It was such a difficult task for students to rent or book these rooms because they were always taken. So they set up their own booking site. And that way the room was always available, right? So they booked the room, and now they were having a LAN party instead of us having a Data Saturday in it.
So if the room is booked, you
They
just
set
need
up-
a new booking system to book the room
Right,
again.
right. That's actually a brilliant solution
Like
to so many
Yeah, yeah.
problems.
Honestly, genius idea,
Yeah.
because again, think this through. I just started my own booking system for flights, and all of a sudden you can fly first class all the way to the US for just 10 euros.
I think in the industry,
Sign
the
me up.
term is called self-upgrade, when people just decide like, no, I'm actually worth a business class seat today.
Yeah, but that's different because they just sit in a seat that they haven't paid for. But I actually bought this ticket from my own booking site. Anyways, speaking of rabbit holes and digressing, let's get to the second question that we always ask, Daniel. If you're not
Go ahead.
performance tuning SQL Server, and also not kicking people out of LAN parties just because you think you booked the room through another bookings. I mean, we will never know which booking system was right
It's
in the
true.
end. But anyways, what is your favorite non-data thing to do?
So I thought a lot about that question. I'm between hobbies, I could say. I've been into photography. I was into cycling. I used to be an indoor cycling instructor for a couple of years. I'm trying to figure out something new to do for a non-data hobby, but it seems like my calendar is always full with data stuff nowadays, to the point where I'm actually like in the couch in the evening, I'm doing data stuff on my laptop. So I should probably get more of a life and a little less work. But ask me again in a couple of years. I'll figure it out.
Perfect. Well, you can also
I feel
crowdsource
like
these
Daniel
ideas.
just booked another episode for himself on his own booking system.
I see what he
think this
did
is
there.
what just happened.
What hobbies should I get into, audience? Put your comments in
Exactly.
the comments below. Right, this is what YouTubers do, right?
Yes, it is. We do it all the time. We know what's happening. Perfect.
I'm
okay.
just wondering, but yes, I was just wondering if that episode where we started doing it all the time, even already published. But yes, it did. So yes, we do it all the time.
It was Erin,
By
right?
the way,
The
that
one with
might
the
be one of the
pointing.
doors. That might be one of those doors that you might rather have left unopened, because I have no idea what kind of ideas you will get now from our very creative audience. But
I mean, to be fair,
We
as
shall
we're
see.
recording this, I don't know if you folks are up here or if you're down there or over here or.
It's true. That's why I tend
So
to just
I'm
do
on-
this.
I'm on your upper right. I'm on your upper right from you, and Jess is on your upper left, also from you.
Nice to have you folks.
Hi.
Um,
Maybe the wrong way.
okay, Jess. No,
I don't know my lefts
exactly.
and rights.
I'm sure you folks
Okay,
are
got
just
it.
switched it up just to mess with me. Just,
I
you
mean,
wouldn't do
I'm
that.
really wondering if anybody has ever seen any episode of that show here, because apparently not.
One day you'll make it big.
It's fine. It's fine. Also, one day,
But it's also very confusing.
Ben, that was the
Because if I'm
perfect
looking to my
segue.
left, which I have to.
had
It was it?
Well, it was, but then we talked at the same time again.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I want to cancel my last sentence.
It's also that I'm time for me to be hungry again. I don't remember what it was going to be.
Oh, that's a perfect segue. By the way, nice to be like, oh, I just had the perfect segue, but then I forgot.
Yeah, I have a lot of perfect ideas that just get forgotten too. But yeah, it's fine. Anyway, I'm hungry. Daniel, the final question for the podcast is always what your favorite food is.
So I'm going to go with something that I don't think any other speaker has mentioned. I was born in Switzerland, and I kind of sort of identify as Swiss, even though in pretty much every respect I'm Swedish, really, realistically. I still identify as Swiss because I just love Switzerland and I love Swiss food. So I'm going to go ahead and say Rösti, which is like a grated potato dish, which you fry in a frying pan, and then you can serve it with all kinds of extras depending on your personal preferences. I'm kind of a purist, so I would love just plain rösti with like a fried egg. That'll set me happy. If you live in Switzerland, you can buy them in ready to cook packages that you just dump in your frying pan and you just leave the stove for 5 minutes. You come back and you have food. That doesn't happen in Sweden. If you want to make rösti in Sweden, you have to actually grate the potato yourself and you have to squeeze it in like a towel and stuff. I tried that once when I was a child. It didn't work out because, something came out that resembled a dish. It just didn't taste what I was used to. So this is one of those things that I can only get when I go on vacation to Switzerland. So that's my answer for my favorite food.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
I just get back from Switzerland 3 days ago, but I had fondue for dinner, so there's that.
Well, there's Switzerland and there's Switzerland, and in Swiss German we call the divide between the French speaking part and the German speaking part the Röstigrabe, the Rösti moat or whatever in English. So that's like on one side you eat fondue, on the other side you eat Rösti.
I would say yes, but at the same time, I was in Basel, which is on the non-fondue side, actually. But
I think it's
but
close.
There's also great rösti there, and
it's like a 30-minute train ride.
It's a food.
I think
it's very enjoyable.
Yes.
Did you ever have rösti, Jess?
Not that I know.
You should try.
I think so. Yeah, I'm very up for grated potato and eggs.
I mean, think of like hash browns, but in way, way, way better.
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing. I'm very interested.
Mm-hmm.
Think of like a hash brown that fills the entire pan is way better. And then Daniel said he prefers them with just like a fried. I'm also going whenever I have rösti in Switzerland. It's a plain one, but usually just with some Appenzeller cheese or something on it. So it's kind of like just the melting goodness of cheese, and then it being fried with hang on, Jess, butter.
Yeah, I'm in. I knew there was going to be butter in this dish.
I knew it.
Settled.
Perfect.
Excellent. Now I'm hungry. Damn it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a while until I'm back in Switzerland.
Yeah, I realize I need to start making plans.
Because you're also getting hungry?
Yeah, I'm going to go back actually on my my favorite non-data thing. At least on the list of favorite non-data things will probably be hiking in the Swiss mountains. So put that on the list.
Perfect.
So if you, dear viewer, have not hiked in the Swiss Alps, or actually the Alps, I'm not going to say any country is better than the other, but if you haven't hiked in the Alps, that is such a sublime thing to do. It's very, very accessible. You take like a little funicular, I think it's called, up to somewhere, and then you walk 3-4 hours along like well-prepared gravel roads. You have a rösti or whatever, like a hot meal on a mountaintop, and then you take the funicular down, and make sure to back up your SD card from the camera because it's going to be chock full of beautiful imagery. Do people still have cameras?
Amazing.
People still do have cameras, but less and less people are using them because most people are really just using their phones these days. Having that said, a typical camera in a phone these days is better than the average digital camera from a couple of years back. So I'm going to say average, not something someone that really knows what they're doing. But if we were just getting one of those average digital cameras, exactly.
It is the picture.
Phone is usually not a bad replacement.
Yeah, you should avoid the temptation to do like pixel peeping, just super zooming in pictures and trying to discern every minute detail. Just look at the actual image, and for that, mobile phones are just amazing, and they're always with you, which is great.
Exactly. That's the nice thing, right? You never forget your
Yeah.
camera because it's always shoved in your pocket.
Like 15, 20
Because
years
that's
ago, I would have like a compact camera in my backpack until I drowned one when it was raining out. So yeah, that was that taught me.
yeah, and that's kind of the replacement because I used to carry like a big camera with all kinds of exchange lenses and all that. I was like, well, the thing is, I never have it with me unless if you go like, well, I'm going to go on a safari today. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need it. That's different. But in most cases, it's just like, well, oh, now something is happening, and now I want to take a picture, and I will not just carry around a big camera with me,
Right.
just in case. Apart of the fact that it usually would take me probably way too long to get ready, and whatever the moment was, it's gone. Speaking of gone moments,
Where did they go?
the 21 something minutes, I have no idea where they went, but we kind of are at time. It was yet another distinct pleasure meeting you because we've never met before.
That's right.
Hardly ever,
Brand new
right?
friend.
There's exactly.
It was
Thank you again for all you're doing for the community with all the tools that you're putting out there.
Agreed.
Because again, they are much appreciated, and I've seen them at so many events at this point where people are actually using them. So they are getting put to good use.
it was a great pleasure
And
being
that-
on the show. Thank you so much for having me, both of you.
Pleasure. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure to comment just in case you're not super satisfied with Daniel's hiking and trail walking.
Austrians are going to be
hobby.
so upset.
Be like super creative. Come up with something, and then we're actually going to make him do it. Oh, this will be
Perfect.
so much fun.
Great plan.
And with that,
Challenge accepted.
thank you all. This was fun, and we see you all next week.
Bye, folks.
Bye.